Have you ever wondered why it's not always easy to stay positive? There are times when the series of bad things happening in our lives gives no break, and it becomes very difficult to remain optimistic in the face of adversity. You start to question yourself. What if everything seems lost? What if my shoulders carry an unfair and silent burden? What if all I want to do is give up? How can I expect something good to happen if I've already forgotten what life felt like before hopelessness, before winter arrived in my life? Today, we're going to learn how a quote from the French writer Albert Camus can help you find comfort when everything feels hostile, and guide you in searching for hope in a place that seems empty. In the midst of winter, I found there was, within me, an invincible summer. Albert Camus' quote reminds us that no matter how difficult life becomes, no matter how isolating or cold our circumstances may feel, there is something inside us that refuses to give up. That invincible summer is the quiet, enduring strength that sustains us, especially in the face of adversity. This poetic image of a radiant summer living within the bleakness of winter is more than metaphor, it is a profound truth about the human condition. We all encounter seasons of hardship, times of grief, loss, confusion, illness, heartbreak, or failure. These moments can feel endless, as though warmth, light, and joy have vanished entirely. But what Camus urges us to remember is that those qualities are never gone, they are merely hidden beneath the frost, waiting for us to find them again. Let us explore 5 key lessons this quote imparts, and how each can guide us through our personal winters. Inner strength remains, even in darkness. Winter often feels like a metaphor for emotional and psychological struggle. The cold can represent depression, isolation, or the dull ache of grief. But just as the earth still holds warmth deep in its core, we too possess a strength that doesn't vanish, even when it seems absent. That inner strength can be quiet, so quiet we might forget it's there. But in moments of crisis, it often reveals itself in our small acts of endurance. The ability to get out of bed, to show up, to keep breathing, all of these are signs of the invincible summer within. We don't always recognize it as strength, but it is. When everything feels barren, this resilience is what keeps us moving. It's not about being unaffected by hardship, it's about surviving and eventually finding meaning again. Hardship builds and reveals resilience. Resilience isn't something we're born with, it's something we develop. And more often than not, it's revealed to us when we have no choice but to face our struggles head-on. Camus' quote reminds us that our toughest seasons are also our most revealing. When we are stripped of comforts and certainty, we begin to understand what we're really made of. We may discover patience we didn't know we had, or learn to forgive ourselves and others in ways we never thought possible. Paradoxically, hardship has the power to show us our depth. It forces us to reach inward, to uncover that invincible summer not because we want to, but because we must. Over time, what once felt like unbearable suffering can become the very experience that forged our character. Hope is quiet but persistent. Hope doesn't always come in grand declarations or moments of revelation. Often, it appears subtly, like the first thaw of spring. A kind word from a friend, a beam of sunlight through the clouds, a song that makes you cry and remember that you still feel, these are all signs that hope is not lost. The invincible summer is this form of hope. It persists beneath the coldest layers of our experience. Even when we feel numb or distant, something in us knows that this is not the end. We may not be able to see the path forward, but we continue walking. That quiet hope becomes our guide. We may not notice it daily, but in hindsight, we recognize how it carried us through. Joy and peace come from within. In our search for happiness, we often look to external sources, success, relationships, approval, or material comfort. But Camus' words suggest that real joy comes from something much deeper and more enduring. It is not dictated by our surroundings, but by our ability to stay connected to our inner light. In moments when the outside world offers little warmth, it is our own perspective, creativity, and compassion that can nourish us. Sometimes, it is simply the decision to find beauty in small things, a warm drink, a good book, a walk in nature, that reconnects us to our sense of aliveness. By learning to cultivate that joy from within, we become less vulnerable to the changing seasons of life. We discover that we are not dependent on everything going well to feel well. Change is inevitable, and so is renewal. Perhaps the most hopeful aspect of the quote is its reminder of impermanence. Winter doesn't last forever. Neither does sadness. Neither does pain. Life moves in cycles. Just as the earth turns, so do we. When we find ourselves in a dark period, it's easy to believe that the light will never return. But time, combined with patience, support, and inner work, can lead us back to clarity, meaning, and peace. Healing is not a straight line. There are relapses and setbacks. But each time we make it through a difficult day, we lay the groundwork for spring. And when spring comes, it is sweeter because we remember what it felt like to live without it. Camus' quote is not a denial of suffering. He doesn't pretend that winter isn't hard or that it doesn't matter. What it offers is a truth strong enough to hold our pain while still pointing to hope. That invincible summer inside us is not about being cheerful or optimistic all the time. It's about remembering that something in us is unconquerable. That no matter how broken we feel, we are never beyond repair. That even in our loneliest, most frozen seasons, we are still alive, and where there is life, there is possibility. So, when winter settles over your life, and it feels heavy and endless, know that you're not alone. If you're in the grip of depression, you don't have to pretend to be okay. It's okay to feel tired. It's okay to feel lost. But remember, beneath the weight, there is still a part of you that hasn't given up. There's still a summer inside you, even if you can't feel its warmth right now. Honor your feelings, take each moment slowly, and don't be afraid to ask for help. The darkness may feel like forever, but it isn't. The summer within you is patient. It hasn't left. And one day, maybe quietly, maybe suddenly, it will rise and bring light back to your life.